How's it going, everybody? Rudy here. Alright, what I'm going to talk about today is it's going to kind of piggyback off of what I talked about in the last video. And it's this idea of people who are looking for a father figure. And I think it has a lot to do with this proclivity of people looking for gurus, or guru seeking. I've talked about that before. I talked about my experience on my last work week and how the guy that I worked with has kind of followed me around like a little lost dog. And I got the impression that he was kind of seeking for my approval in a lot of ways. Because he had this thing where he would talk about our store manager and he was kind of obsessed with him in this weird way. And I remember having a very specific thought of he's seeking a father figure. And that goes for a lot of people because I've been through that. I know what he's going through. So it's like I empathize with that. Especially if you weren't raised by, if you didn't have your father in your life. In my case, I didn't have a father in my life. Just to recap, he died when I was 5. I watched him have the stroke that killed him. So I went through my whole life without any strong male figures, much less my own father in my life. So I never had that earthly father kind of spirit until I was an adult, in my 30s, like 35, 36, something like that. And it all came through forgiveness. I know I got some people that don't like that word because they think it's weakness, and it's not weakness. Forgiving is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. My father and my mother. And I know a lot of y'all might be thinking, like, how do you go about forgiving somebody who died like that? Like, I can't confront my father because he's gone. He's been dead for 32 years, 33 years, and it's like, how do you go about forgiving your earthly father? And what part of it was his fault? I mean, and I did blame him for dying because he didn't take care of himself. He was very overweight, obese, drinking all the time, smoking all the time, and I know that for a fact because him and my mother owned a bar. They owned several bars that went bankrupt. They went under. Because I have a lot of cantina merchandise. Cantinas is like a Mexican Spanish bar, and they ran many bars in their life as they were married, and so I got a lot of like Miller Lite merchandise that I took from my mother when she passed away because I thought it was neat. It has a little nostalgia because it's like those things remind me of my dad, even though I don't drink myself. I never liked beer. I never got into beer just because my mother was such a alcoholic that I was just completely like, no go. Like, I see what it does to people. Same with the smoking. I see what smoking and drinking does to people. And even then, I still had the wrong attitude in terms of my relationship between things like that. Like I've talked about the Tejano music, which is South Texas Spanish music. It's kind of Tex-Mex music. I had a bad attitude towards it. I had a bad relationship towards it, and not anymore because I'm fine with it now. I understand the roots of it. It's really deeply embedded in the cumbia, kind of Hispanic, Latino heritage and whatnot. Not that I embrace that or anything, but I understand it now. So it's like I don't have a problem with it now. Yeah, same with the drinking and the smoking. Well, not the smoking because I think smoking's just plain wrong. It gets into everything. It's very destructive. Tobacco's just not good for you, even in its purest form. It just sticks to everything, and it's just nasty. Like I think smokers are nasty, just period. They're nasty people. And if I have any smokers, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. Keep it to yourself. Like, just don't push that shit on other people. As for the drinking, in moderation is fine. I'll have a drink every now and then. And when I say every now and then, I mean maybe like once a year, twice a year. I just got a wild hair at my butt where I want to drink, and it's not anything like beer. It's usually like some kind of flavored alcohol, like vodka mixed with cherry Coke or something like that, or not cherry Coke, but cherry Sprite. Yeah. But anyway, to get back on topic, I know what it's like. I know what this guy's going through. He's 33 and he's still searching for that father figure. He's still searching for identity. So he took on his mother's last name as an adult. It was like a 5 months to do it. From what he explained to me, it took him like 5 months to get his last name changed. And it's like, that's still not going to make him happy. It's still not going to make him satisfied. And I almost said it. And it's like, why go out through this trouble just because you hate your father? That's insanity to me. Like, the literal interpretation of trying to find your identity through these labels, like the first name, last name caps, legal fiction. And but he doesn't understand that. I didn't understand that either when I was his age. So it's not really like his fault in a way. That's what I kind of mean by the things that we do, we don't understand, and it's not our fault in a big way. But we still have to take responsibility. Like, if he ever wakes up and forgives his father and realizes he's kind of a dumbass for changing his last name the way he did, he'll wake up and realize what an idiot he is, and hopefully he'll still be fine with it, because I've done things too. After being gaslit and lied to, I've done things. I'm guilty of doing things, and it's like I don't hold it against myself. I don't take responsibility for that, because that wasn't me. I was tricked into doing these things by other people. And it wasn't fair to me. It was like an unfair game at that point. Like, the game wasn't being played on an even playing ground. It wasn't being played fair. Therefore, I'm not responsible. But I'll still acknowledge that it happened. You know what I mean? So this guy, what he's going through, he's in that phase where he's guru seeking. He's trying to find his identity. And the girl that he's shacking up with, that he got with, he moved all the way from Michigan to be with her. Not Michigan, Minnesota. He moved from Minnesota to be with her, and I guarantee it, he got away from Minnesota to get away from his crazy family, to get away from his crazy mother. And I'm like 99% sure that's the case, because that's the case with so many people. And he did the right thing, by the way, trying to get away from his crazy blood family, and that's what you're supposed to do. Like, men especially, like if you're an adult male, you're 18, 19, 20, you need to get away from your parents. Get the hell out of your hometown, because that's what Jesus did. Like, Jesus got away from his hometown for probably over 10 years, but like I said before, we don't know his complete story because it's been hidden from us on purpose. Because the hints are there that his awakening, like the hints are there about his awakening, and it's being kept from us on purpose, because those would be the biggest clues of all of him getting away from his family. And when Jesus went back to his own hometown, like, he was rejected. He was they kind of made fun of him. Like, who's this guy? Isn't this the son of the carpenter? Isn't that Mary's son? Isn't that so-and-so's cousin? It's like they didn't see him for the wise man that he was. They saw him for just these labels of son of a carpenter, or the Mary's son, or Joseph's son. That's all they saw him as. And Jesus had to turn to his disciples and go, like, we have to go. We can't perform miracles here. Well, I can't perform miracles here. And because they're too blind, they can't see. They can't see. And you're going to encounter people like that in your life, who are just so hung up on the labels of blood family. Like, they're not going to listen to you. This is a problem that a lot of truthers have. It's like, you're not listened to because they just see you as this stupid little boy or stupid little girl who doesn't have any wisdom, who isn't living their life. They just see you as that, these dumb little labels. They can't see past that. And they're not going to listen to you, so really, don't bother. There will be a time coming where you can speak up, and you'll get the reality clues, man, that'll let you know when you need to speak up. But anyway, this guy, the guy that I work with, back on topic, he's still looking for that missing father figure. And if he would, like, his father died about maybe 6 months ago, according to him. So, but it's not all hopeless. Like, he can still forgive for the crazy things his father did. And he still has a chance to forgive his mother for lying about his father and all the crazy shit she did, because I'm pretty sure she's done crazy shit. They all do. All ladies out there, man. Like, I love y'all ladies, but it's like, y'all are insane. Like for real. But if you've been listening to me as long as you have, for the 1.5 years now I've been doing this, y'all already know that. So I don't even have to explain. But anyway, and I got into a conversation with one of my subscribers, a really bright person, really bright girl. I'm not going to give her name, but if you go back in my video, you'll see the comments. She basically said that she thinks that introverts need people for the energy they bring. And that, she said, I think the guy at work is feeding off your energy. I think extroverts need people for the energy they bring. And I hadn't even considered that until she said it. And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because, like after getting off work that day, I was just completely mentally exhausted. Like I said, like I could have fell out and died right then and there and probably been okay with it because I was just so tired. Like it wasn't even a physical exhaustion; it was like a spiritual exhaustion. Like I don't know if this dude was just harvesting energy and not realizing it, but you know, man, you know the type. Everybody here should know the type where it's just they're just so damn they're just so freaking energetic to the point where it's like, could you just sit down and be quiet for a minute? And I woke up this morning thinking about this, wondering if people like us, people like me and you who are introverts, are like old souls who are ready to leave this realm. And the extroverts are the souls who are new and are afraid to die alone. And that's the vibe I really got with this guy, is that he's just, not only is he seeking a father, he's seeking a guru. He's afraid to die alone, and that's why he kind of got with this girl here from where I'm from, moving all the way from Minnesota. And I put, the guy I work with gave me this vibe. The woman that he hooked up with has children in their teens, while he's in his 30s and childless. He left his home state of Michigan. I put Michigan, I meant Minnesota. I suspect to get away from his nutty family, but I couldn't dig into that. I'm 99% certain because that seems to be the case with lots of people. And he came into the relationship with so much baggage from this lady's spiritual and financial baggage. She still talks to the baby daddy and has to ask him for help sometimes. To me, that's wild. All because he's afraid to be alone. He desperately wants to make it work. He's just a microcosm of the males in the world today who get absolutely ruined by the school system and society as a whole. It's no wonder the world seems like hell right now. So many guys have little faith because they're missing their earthly father and can't even conceptualize God. They can't lead and let the woman in their lives dig them straight into the abyss. And that was kind of a rant, because I had this crap on my mind this morning. I just woke up with it on my mind, and I was like, I mean, this dude, like, because I've said it before, guys, you're supposed to go out and start a family of your own, and you have the woman come into your world, and you start a new life together, a new bloodline. Like two complete strangers who create a new bloodline is what the spiritual essence is what the mythos is, the mythology. And that's the proper order, that's the proper way of doing things. But this guy reversed the order by not only going into this woman's world, but to come into this woman's world while she has kids and all this extra baggage, these financial problems, these car problems. Like, he told me everything that was going wrong, and as he was telling me this, I had to like stop him in the middle of it and go, and I literally just said, like, man, you're getting into a lot of baggage with this lady. And like, I just said it, and he didn't get offended. It might be because I'm a supervisor, but I'm not afraid to say things like that. It's like, dude, like, he's going into her world with all this extra baggage that he doesn't need. Like, he's at the age where he should be discovering himself. Instead, he's getting himself wrapped up in this lady's abyss. Like, she's in the hole already. And it's like, he kept emphasizing to me, it's like, oh, I don't mind the hardship, man. I don't mind the trouble, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not really understanding my point. It's like, and I've explained these things to him because I had to work with him for 7 days straight. And I talk about things like this all the fucking time. Any chance I get, I'm going to start talking about it because it's just on the forefront of my mind constantly. And their response to my comment was, I think you give off an energy that makes you very easy to talk to, IMO. That's why I write, and I bet that's why that young guy at work is talking with you so much too. And it might also be too because you're our father and he feels safe with confiding in you. That is an absolutely beautiful thing. Men to be there for men. I very strongly feel that men are being treated unfairly these days in massively damaging ways. I could go on about this point for hours easily. You protect your energy, but know you are a light. You protect your energy, but know you are a light for certain. That's really nice of her to say that about me. And I did get that vibe as well, because I remember thinking out loud as the guy was kind of talking to me, is that he's looking for a father figure, but I'm not the one. I'll talk to him and be honest with him, and that's my way of, like, this is gonna sound weird, but that's my way of showing love to somebody. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit with them. I'm not gonna just give in and go along with their bullcrap. I'm gonna be honest about the situation and what I think about it, and I don't have to be in his shoes to understand what he's going through, what it's like to go into another woman's world, because I have family members that have been through that. My brother, for instance, went into that, like, with another lady, and that he knocked up and basically ended up marrying after they had a kid out of wedlock, and he had 3 children with this woman after she already had 2 with this other man, who was still involved with her, by the way. So it's like, I know what that's like. And my brother's life has been absolute hardship, because he didn't understand the order. He didn't know, because his examples were horrible. Like, my mother, for instance, was already, I mean, I've told you about my mother. I don't even have to get in about her. I don't know about his father too much, but just what I gleaned off the surface, thinking back on it, like, I don't know if my mother was his father's 2nd or 3rd wife, or whatever the case is, but they got together. They made a child, which was my brother, who's 12 years older than me. So I was born 12 years later, and it's like, man, it's so weird, because he ended up the father, my brother's father, ended up remarrying and having more kids, and that's just more trauma that's just being rippled out into the darkness. And I don't know how else to put it, because that's what it seems like to me, thinking back on it. And my brother's been suffering ever since. And it wasn't just the epilepsy. It was just like that spiritual separation that my brother went through at a very early age. And it's like, he was in and out of prison. He was getting in trouble all the time. You know, juvenile detention, in and out of the prison system just constantly. And he finally had a little bit of stability when he married this woman and kind of got with her. But even then, it was kind of hell on earth and an uphill battle, because she didn't want to work. She didn't want to do anything. She barely wanted to be a mom. And it's like, I know the type so well. It's like these some of these women just, like, have kids, and they want to mooch off the government, and they don't want to be mothers. Like, they just don't. You can just tell they don't care about their children. But the thing about this lady that he married is that she was actually honest about it at some point, which is kind of admirable, because you just have so many women who aren't being honest about it, that they just let the nonsense go on forever. And she was honest about it and said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. I don't want these kids anymore. You need to take care of them. Which was a better chance in hell than his kids being with a lady that didn't love them. And it's just wild to me, thinking back on it. And those are my nieces. They had 4 daughters together, all around kind of the same age, not the same age, but about a year or 2 apart each. So they kind of grew together. But I lost contact with them, unfortunately, so I don't really know them, which is fine. I wish them well. Hopefully they see through the reality nonsense as well. And I replied back, I get that impression too. It's in all people to seek the fathers. It's in all people to seek the fathers, starting with their earthly father and then the father above. But a lot of men are growing up without either, and that's where the big damage to the spirit begins. Men and women both go through this. This guy also has a weird obsession with a store manager. The specific thought of he's looking for a father popped into my head when I would talk to him. And I already talked about that, but that was the reply string. Very interesting. Made me think about things a whole lot. And she's right. She's just on point with these ideas about introverts and extroverts. And I think there's a little bit more metaphysical shenanigans when it comes to introverts and extroverts. Anyway, guys, I think that's all I have to say. Kind of a long ramble. I'll try to get my thoughts a little more focused. I've been a little discombobulated lately, I guess. Anyway, you all have a great day. Bye-bye.